Assalamu alaikum. Hi everyone. Warmly welcome to all of you with another important topic and the third lecture of confined space entry management like CSE planning and preparation. The first two lectures we covered what is confined space, what is confined space entry and the examples of confined spaces, how they look like. And in the second phase we discuss, uh, who is responsible for developing this confined space plan, and on the other side, who is responsible for what actually, like as a work permit issuer and receiver, what are your responsibilities, then as a management, as a leadership of that company or project, what are your responsibilities, and of course we discuss the responsibilities of CSE supervisor as well as standby man, including the entrance. So now the third lecture is all about CSE Planning and Preparation 1.3. So let's start. The number one question should come in our mind: why we need a plan and why plan? So it's quite straightforward to assess possible hazards and control measures. We need a plan, and who could be the planner? Like who could be the key planner, the proponent department, or the contractor? Because plan basically is a kind of direction. So if plan is not effective or incomplete or not productive enough, or the planner was not experienced enough, to prepare a solid plan, that means the direction is not solid. So it would be really hard to achieve your desired goals or targets, if planning is not perfect. So now, as per the requirement of CSC planning, what elements you must not ignore actually, or your CSE planning should be including all these below points, like number one, the scope of work must be properly reviewed, whatever agreed with your customer, and perform a hazard evaluation of space and surrounding area. And also, as per the key planning factor unique to specific space, it should be prepared in advance, and also use what if scenarios for emergency procedures. So what if scenario, what if sudden sandstorm gonna be there, what if sudden earthquake, god forbid, will be there, what if sudden breakout of COVID-19 or kind of coronavirus or Omicron or any other variant gonna be there, what is our contingency plan or emergency response plan. So same way for fire emergencies, for confined space collapse and several, or sudden fatality of any, god forbid, or maybe sudden exposure of spread of even H2S. So whatever the emergency is there, how are you going to tackle it up? Now, the even within the planning, you need to make sure the scope of work is well defined and clear. In advance, you know how to, what are the hazards, relevant to that particular. You can look at in the picture, the person is doing welding inside. Plenty of gas and fumes could be collected at the source, and we need to extract them through some mechanical ventilation, of course, and look at the standby man, how he is standing there and making sure, a two-way communication, and also making sure the proper documentation of CSE log sheet and fulfilling his responsibilities. There is alarm and also emergency plan is in place, lifeline to safety harness. So I hope this picture would also be giving you some idea. That is why make sure each isolation point is well located and identified. Method is there. Procedures for cleaning, purging or ventilating. Entry and exit requirements and pedestrian and vehicle barriers would also be there. Now fall protection plans, that should also be part of our planning, and types and frequency of gas testing. Like before issuing the permit, of course, we need to conduct a gas testing, but before first entry, again, we have to do gas testing. And once after the breaks, again, we are going back into the confined space, we again require gas testing. Otherwise, after every 2 hours, it's mandatory as per international standards or as per Saudi Aramco even. After every 2 hours, make sure you conduct gas testing, and also the gas testing should be as per the nature of your project or process. Like could be like continual gas testing, because your process is quite complicated and it's a hot work, and anything can happen anytime, so you don't take any chance. And you can't ignore gas test results, like what is the value of H2S or oxygen level or carbon monoxide, or on the other side LEL, or lower explosive limit or upper explosive limit, or other toxic gases. Surely you have to be familiar with. That is why we have P40 Rattler, we have authorized gas tester, using several gas testing tools and equipment to make sure the right set of results are in front of us all the time, again as per the nature of the project. Now PP's requirement, personal protective equipment, that should also be considered equally important, because since you are working in confined space, so we have three layers of solutions like engineering, administrative, and PPs. Now, equipment required to do work, emergency response procedures, and plan must also be available for review. So now pre-entry preparation. Once your planning is done and you have all the segments within your plan and the plan is perfect, now it's time to pre-entry preparation. And how are you gonna be well prepared, like before you get entry. So review plan with a work crew, kind of a toolbox meeting. Share the plan with the crew and perform a hazard evaluation of space and surrounding area. That is another important step you need to follow, and implement control measures. But I would say effectively implement control measures and make sure they are sustainable also. It's not like the control you implemented and is sustainable only for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and after that there are some drastic or kind of terrible consequences. So, rescue plan must be in place before entry. A rescue plan must be in place before entry, not after entry, before entry. I hope it's quite straightforward. So, this was like first we started with planning, and now we are talking about pre-entry preparation. And now, after pre-entry preparation, the next phase is entry preparation. We are going to enter. So, what we have to do is the number one step, two-way, like if only Saudi Aramco employees are involved or the customer employees are involved, they would have their own set of procedure and steps. So, but in short, operations can receive permits. Every entry must have a CSE supervisor. An entrance must be physically fit to entry, and also standby man assigned by the CSE supervisor, and communication equipment must also be there. Fire extinguisher is mandatory. Ensure that the required permits are issued. Without issuing the permit, nobody even think to go inside. Nobody even should dare to go inside, because violating safety rules means you are compromising with your life. It's a life threat actually. That is why, uh, especially in high hazardous industries, the number one cause of fatalities or number one cause of accidents is always like not following safety rules and regulations. So ensure the required permits are issued, then prepare the job site, because you are going to enter. Isolate work site using signs and barricades, and check entry and exit points. And these checkpoints of course will help you, and but don't tick blindly. Sometimes you just tick. That's not only the tick box. You need to stop, think, have a clear focus, and see either the things are implemented or you're just having a fake tick, god forbid. So entry equipment must also be there, and communication equipment, and initial response and equipment. Okay, so confined space entry checklist, like specific checklist for complex entry, like 27 points could be there. Hazard analysis checklist from the permit in most other cases, and this kind of hazard analysis checklist is part of the front side of the permit, because now the format changed. So I'll share the link later on. Checklist could be like this. So each point, confined space entry point plan provided and available. You don't have any option for not applicable. You have to put it yes, but make sure it's there, it's available. Then area barricaded and has warning signs posted. Yes, because no compromise. We can't say it's not applicable. And also electrical sources isolated. Yes, if electrical sources are not there, then it's not applicable. But any not applicable, make sure you have a technical, logical, correct justification here to the system why you take not applicable. Now, process piping and equipment isolated, and hydraulic, pneumatic, or energy sources are isolated. Lockout and hold tag procedures followed. Hot work or hot or cold work permit completed. So each checkpoint is very much valuable. Don't move on until you have a solid reason to take, and make sure it's a, sometimes I say if it is a fake take, you are a killer because you are the one ignoring several important safety regulations. But if you are ticking like a genuine take, if it's a genuine take, you're a lifesaver with the help of DRL machine. Okay, so I hope you will understand the value of that checkbox. It's not like just a formality. Confined space entry permit completed, atmosphere tested, especially for oxygen. As a human being, this is our first most single most important requirement. The oxygen level, and as per OSHA, we required 19.5% oxygen or maximum 23.5%. So this is the normal range, 19.5% to 23.5%. But as per Saudi Aramco, 20% to 23.5%. So this is the normal range. Below or above, both are not acceptable. Now, atmosphere tester for LEA, lower explosive limit. Now, for hazard analysis checklist, again, the requirement is before you tick yes or no or not applicable, stop on each point and make sure you are ticking genuinely, because ultimately you are going to sign it as an issuer or as a receiver. Either you are Saudi Aramco or you are a work permit receiver on behalf of your company, and that company of course have direct contract or subcon with any other one, working with Saudi Aramco. No, confined space entry preparation still going on. No obstruction should be there at the entry point, and post warning signs and permits. And most importantly, isolate and ventilate. Isolate and ventilate. Okay. Gas test as per CSE plan. Issue proper PP, personal protective equipment, and use CSC confined space entry checklist. That would be a great help. And for isolation and Lotto, bear in mind this is the most important process, which you truly have to ensure. Isolate energy sources, and there could be any sort of energy. Could be like electrical, and for electrical energy, lock out and tag out. Lock out and tag out would be a great help. And mechanical, that could also be Lotto, lock out, tag out. Hydraulic and pneumatic, depressurize, drain hazardous material. You need to drain out all hazardous materials. Clean, water wash or steaming. For cleaning, draining, you need to make sure you open the valve and you remove hazardous material. But on the other side, still, if that place need to be cleaned, it could be a water wash or maybe steaming as well. Otherwise, purging, and for purging we use nitrogen. Okay. Now, I'll try to show you this video, and it will give you an idea why I'm talking about a lot of the safety rules and regulations related to confined space. You know, this high oxygen, how it could be dangerous in a confined space. Let me see if that video will work here. Okay, anyhow, you can just, go somewhere in the YouTube and see uh, mm, high oxygen in a confined space, how it could be terrible. So I hope it will give you plenty of ideas what can go wrong if oxygen level is so high, or LEL is above 0% and you are doing hot work, God forbid, or if carbon monoxide is above than 35 ppm, how it could be terrible, you know. So if you don't isolate properly, how things can go out of control. So that's why I always mention, you know, in confined space, it's hard to get second chance. So you have no chance to do any mistake or any unsafe act, you know. So be proactive, be well prepared, and make sure you have right person for the right job. And I'm sure this video will be very much beneficial for all of you, inshallah. So please, you can go through again and again uh, and watch this lecture and make sure you have a clear understanding, especially for all three phases like planning and pre-entry preparation and entry preparation, and also lockout tagout. And then, of course, you perform your activity safely and make sure nothing will go wrong. Okay, so that was our lecture number 3 related to confined space entry preparation. If there is any confusion, any question, you can ask me directly. You can note down my WhatsApp number 009665989034339. So I would be happy to respond. Just ask me any question you have, and but make sure your knowledge is sufficient enough as a leader or as an operational employee. If you're going to work in a confined space, like if you're a welder, you're a spray painter, or uh, you're an excavator or whatsoever, but make sure you have a good knowledge and practical skills and kind of certifications also, then go ahead, inshallah. And may Allah keep you safe, because confined space entry, the confined spaces, the rescue in the confined spaces, and one of the most difficult job in the world, I would say. And plenty of fatalities are still happening. So I hope, inshallah, you will play your role honestly with better safety, inshallah, for you, for your family, for your colleagues. And good luck. Thank you very much.